It's time for another Superman movie.
Great! I love Superman stuff. You know, Jimmy Olsen?
Well, he's not in it.
I love that he has to fight against Lex Luthor.
Nope, not in it.
Oh, well, who has the kryptonite this time?
Kryptonite. Well, there's none of that.
Okay. I'm going to pretend this is all positive. When he fights criminals...
I'm going to stop you right there.
Now, hold on. This is a Superman movie, no?
Well, it's Zack Snyder.
Oh!
Hey everybody, welcome to the Countdown Movie Show, where we are here back highlighting, we're getting ready for the new Superman movie. My name's Sean Blodgett of Creative Motion Entertainment.
Justin Bowler of The World.
Paul Preston of The Movie Guys.
We're super happy to be here with you. We have a bunch of other episodes. If you haven't checked those out, be sure to listen to those. I'm sure you'll be rabidly entertained.
Rabidly. So rabid. They can listen to him.
I'm sure you'll have a great time.
I gotta have more podcasts.
We did Superman the movie, we did Superman 2, we did Superman 3, Superman 4, The Quest for Peace.
Yes.
Where they got so bold as to have a subtitle.
Yeah.
And then, well, I guess the movie did also. That's technically a subtitle.
Right, yeah, exactly.
And then Superman Returns, and now Man of Steel.
And now Man of Steel.
I
got to tell you guys, I'm really excited to talk about this movie. I really love this movie.
Yeah?
Yeah. So I'm excited to chat about it and just like jump in. So we should probably start with a synopsis, okay? So I've got a couple of summaries here.
Okay.
I'm just, unless somebody else has summaries.
No.
That they wanted to.
This would like be a time for me, not maybe just run to the bathroom, maybe get in my car, go down the street, get some lunch, come back.
All right, so we fade up to the Warner Brothers logo. And then that transitions at no joke. Okay, all right, we're gonna keep this short this time. These are summaries that are available for everyone to enjoy on,
and it'll be littered with jokes, right?
It's gonna be littered. It's like a litter box. It's what it's gonna be. No, okay. These are all available on IMDb, by the way. So feel free to check these out. I'm just gonna do a few of these here. An alien child is evacuated from his dying world and sent to Earth to live among humans. His peace is threatened when other survivors of his home planet invade Earth.
Read that again?
An alien child is evacuated from his dying world and sent to Earth to live among humans. His peace is threatened when...
I heard correctly. There's no mention of Superman in that plot synopsis.
None.
Okay, now what's interesting about this summary...
And they're right, though.
No,
Right.
Right. But what's interesting about this summary right out of the gate, if you watch any of the behind the scenes, they were very, very focused on wanting to highlight the idea that he's an alien.
Oh, yes.
That was a really, really big
yeah.
thing. So it's in keeping with what they wanted to achieve. So I think that's interesting. Okay, here's another one. Here we go. A young boy learns that he has extraordinary powers and is not of this earth. As a young man, he journeys to discover where he came from and what he was sent here to do. But the hero in him must now emerge if he is to save the world from annihilation and become the symbol of hope for all mankind. Once again, what is not in there? Superman!
A young boy learns he has powers, does nothing with them, the end.
Right.
Okay, here's one last one. I think this one's kind of interesting only because, man, they get kind of specific. And it's long, so settle in, everybody.
Oh, okay. Well, this is what we expected.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
The other one's going so short was
all right,
weird.
Here we go. All right, fade up from the dark into the Warner Brothers logo.
And it's steel.
Okay, all right,
we got
stop.
it,
All right,
Zach.
here we go. All right. Kal-El, son of Jor-El and Lara, is sent to Earth after his home planet Krypton leads to a complete incineration.
Laura L., I'm assuming. They never talk about her.
Now, can we just pause for
L
1 second
family.
and once again, what the L?
Yeah.
What? There is whoever...
You're proud of that.
Jerry Siegel and Joel Schuster.
Okay.
Yes.
So those two guys had an obsession with the letter L or the sound L. Like Lana Lang, we had that joke in one episode.
Oh, I see
Lois
what you're
Lane,
saying. Jor-El.
Jor-El, like what's going on here?
Lana Lang,
what is
Lois
the deal?
Lang.
And it's Laura L. Right?
It's Laura.
L.
Well, no, this just says Laura.
Right. And think about how many L's are literally in the city, Metropolis.
Were they separated because she wasn't using L by the time the movie begins?
Maybe
Maybe
that's what's going on.
That's
there.
right.
That's
Probably
a little family thing. All right, back to our previously recorded program. All right, here we go.
What's that, a tangent? Right. It's kind of
Right. Picking it up. Now taking the name Clark Kent, he then discovers his true persona when he is guided to become Superman, a hero committed to protect Earth's fate and the harm that threatens it. However, General Zod, a citizen of Krypton and its military leader, looks at Earth's fate differently and decides to use it with a sacrifice for all humans. Superman, with the help of present military and news reporter Lois Lane, makes an alliance together to stop Zod from obliterating human existence. Mwah! That last part was just me.
Oh, okay. Didn't actually say mwahaha. Those are summaries.
Those are summaries, and I think they all kind of, they get a lot of it, Anyway.
Yeah, I feel bad about the last episode. I listened back. I don't want to sound as disinterested in this one as I did with the last one.
Superman Returns.
Although they get more disinteresting as we go through.
Well, wait a second.
I tried to do a 28 years later countdown to 3.
Wait a second. Was this one as disinteresting to you as the others? Other than Superman the movie and Superman 2?
They both had a lot of promise. This one had a lot of promise throughout that I think didn't work for me at the end. But then, of course, the whole thing is, we joked at the top about what it's missing, and it's missing a lot of things, and it does, but in the end, it does kind of work as a pseudo-origin story. I don't love the alien angle.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why?
Did the comic books ever do that?
Well,
it just feels to me like it's a new take, and it's one I don't love as much as the standard take. I'm going to jump in, though,
and say the filmmakers set out to make a sci-fi movie. They did not set out to make a superhero movie.
That's clear.
that was far louder than
you're first.
I was like, what the hell is going on?
Opened my...
I'm like, what?
Yeah, they heard.
Right, well, they might have thought it was beer. Who drinks beer from a can anymore?
I mean, that's just crazy. Anyway. In watching some of the behind the scenes, I was sort of struck when I saw that moment when they were chatting about it, and I can't remember what producer said. Yeah, I mean, they really were setting out to make a sci-fi movie. They were not necessarily setting out to make a superhero movie, although ultimately we know that's what it is. But for me, when I heard that kind of changed my point of view and my sort of framing of how I watched this movie.
Interesting.
I felt a little different about because I saw that after I'd seen the movie again. And it did make me think, okay, I can see that point of view and I can see that framing. And now the movie takes on a whole new meaning for me.
Yeah.
Because really it is more of an alien movie. So all of the stuff that maybe you might not like that, they focus on the alien stuff and all, I mean, that's what the movie really is. It is focused on that stuff and him as an alien. So, and I think from multiple points of view, himself dealing with being an alien, being, not of this planet, and where does he fit in? How does he fit in? Does he fit in?
Mm-hmm.
And then everyone else, and then also being, revisited by essentially his bloodline in a way, not directly, but sort of, right? Like, because these are Kryptonians, and the last of the Kryptonians, aside from him, there's so many, I think, deep moments because of that. So,
to me, the two main theories are at odds. Jor-El says, you will give the people of Earth an ideal to strive for. And Jonathan Kent says, never show anybody you're special.
100%.
Until one time he finally is talking to Lois and trying to keep her calm. Says, I can do things other people can't. That simplicity should lead the way, I think, for the whole movie.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. It's constantly squelching his powers. And I didn't get on board with that early and often.
All right. I think we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's go back. Talk a little bit about pre-production and stuff like that.
Fade in. Warner Brothers logo.
The date was June 12th, 2013 that it was released. Budget was $225 million. Worldwide, it ended up making $670 million. Writer David S. Goyer, director Zack Snyder, starring Henry Cavill, Amy Adams, Michael Shannon.
I'm going to jump in and say producer Chris Nolan.
Yeah, you are correct.
And I think that
John Peters.
I think that needs to be pointed out because
So does John Peters.
I don't know if I just forgot or didn't even ever really think about that, but I was like, oh my God, Chris Nolan, like what? I just didn't remember that at all. So I was excited when I saw that. I was like, oh my gosh.
They originally wanted him to direct. He said no.
Of course.
He was going to be a producer on the film, obviously, because he did with Dark Knight Trilogy. And it's kind of interesting, in all honesty, some of the other names that were being tossed around as who was going to direct. Tony Scott was one of them. David S. Goyer, who co-wrote the story and screenplay, revealed that Christopher Nolan met with Tony Scott. Tony Scott did Top Gun, Crimson Tide, True Romance. Goyer expressed he would have liked to have done it. He would have liked if Tony Scott would have done it in an alternate universe. He really wanted to see what that movie would have looked like. I think it certainly would have been a departure from this because I think that Tony Scott is good at playing things safe, you know? And this is not a safe movie, in my opinion. And I think
Tony Scott plays things safe?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And by playing it safe, what I mean is he will follow structure. And I think he is more producer-minded than he is director-minded. And I think rather than saying, I'm going to put my stamp on something, I am going to make a movie that is accessible to everyone.
Tony Scott.
Tony Scott. Disagree?
Okay. He gets a little wild with his editing and, like, I think taking Pelham 1, 2, 3, Man on Fire, just wild, Domino. These are all crazy edited movies that he's hoping that major audiences will go on board with.
I think Domino and Pelham 1, 2, 3 are the outliers of his work.
Yeah, I mean, Top Gun, Crimson Tide are pretty straight down the
Pretty
middle.
straightforward. True Romance, I think, pretty right. For the story that it is, I think it's very accessible for people.
Yeah.
Ben Affleck was offered it, and he turned it down.
The direction?
Yeah. He was just coming off of Argo at the time.
I wonder why.
Why
He was just coming off of Argo at the time.
I wonder why.
He had said specifically, this is going to have too many visual effects. It's going to be too visually effects heavy, so I don't want to do this.
Boy, does
Yeah,
it
I will say,
It is.
and it is.
Yeah,
it
it
is. If you watch any of the behind the scenes, it is. I mean, we just live in a fascinating time.
The stuff that we can
I
do.
mean, the stuff that is done. I mean, even the cape. I didn't realize how much of the cape was CG.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I was like, are you kidding me right now? This is amazing.
much of Zod's suit. is
Yeah,
CG.
right.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I remember,
Yeah.
I think I was watching, which is the pirate, this is the problem with the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, which is the one that initially brought on board Davy Jones?
It's on Stranger Tides. That's number 2.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay. That's not number 4?
No.
This is the problem. What's 4?
Oh, okay. Maybe it's not called on Stranger
No.
Tides.
What's the one with Johnny Depp?
Dead Man's Chest,
No, it's
And
Curse
then-
of the Black Pearl.
right? Dead Man's Chest.
Then maybe it's Dead Man's Chest.
and then At World's End. And so you're
No,
then
At
on
World's End
Stranger
isn't
Tides.
3.
Yeah, I think so. Regardless,
Anyway.
when we finally see Davy Jones, I thought it was Bill Nye with they added CGI tentacles to him. There's nothing there of a person. It's all CGI.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so that's the first time I went, I don't even know anymore. Obviously, the headpieces that they're wearing to handle the atmosphere in
Yeah.
Man of Steel are CGI, but the whole outfit most of the
Yeah,
time,
that was
so
pretty
that he
crazy.
can move quickly because otherwise it would have been too cumbersome.
Yeah.
Crazy to learn, and then crazy to hear about all the other effects.
Yeah, and they did such a great job with I think the flying. I think the flying is just so cool in this movie. I just think they really nailed all that.
Darren Aronofsky?
That would have been different.
Wildly different. Requiem for a Dream, Black Swan. I think it would have been wildly different. Hard to imagine someone like that doing a movie like this.
Yeah. I think it would have been an interesting choice and maybe a right choice in the sense of what they were trying to accomplish with the character. Oddly enough, for them wanting to focus on him being an alien, they wanted to humanize him.
Yeah.
I think what they really wanted to do was make him relatable, which I think they did. I do think they made him relatable. The sequence of him, going job to job and stuff like that, and really trying to find himself, and I love that. The movie takes a nice amount of time growing, I think.
Has Aronofsky ever done a franchise film? Can you think of anyone? I don't want to put everyone
No.
on hold while we check. I don't think he has. So that'd have been
I
interesting.
mean, I was thinking about Noah as maybe his largest visual effects scale movie.
Oh, did he do Noah?
But, yeah.
I've never seen the whole thing, but I recently saw the opening, whatever he says, in the beginning, there was light or there was no, whatever.
I saw the trailer.
It's bizarre as hell.
What's interesting about that movie, Russell Crowe again.
Yeah.
And he's just got such a great speaking voice,
Oh, yeah.
right? Like you could just listen to him I don't know, he could just read a menu. You're like,
Great Jor-El. And fun fact, every time I typed Jor-El, my computer wanted to do Joe-El, which changes the character entirely. If Superman's dad's name is Joe.
hey, Joel.
And finally, the other big name that they would have grabbed was Matt Reeves.
Yeah.
Was an option. Yeah, he's a franchise guy. That makes sense.
I think Zack Snyder was a great choice.
Yeah.
One of the things I enjoyed, they talked about a little bit in the behind the scenes, was that there was a lot that they did single camera, which is odd to do for a movie of this size. So I think he made that intimate, and you can see that in the film. There's a lot of moments where there's handheld work. There's a lot of handheld
There's
work.
a lot of it.
And Zack Snyder and his DP have worked together for a long time, and they have a good working relationship. And you can see that comes across, I think, in the film in a lovely way, I think.
I mean, his movies look great. I mean, if you had a color palette for this movie, I think it would be dark blue-gray.
Yeah.
So it's not exactly fun.
No.
I mean, Zack Snyder is zero fun, I think, as a filmmaker.
He's zero fun. And I wanted to talk a little bit more about pre-production.
Well, now, wait a
but
second. Are you saying zero fun in terms of because these are so dark?
happy, uplifting, inspirational.
Comic bookish.
Even
Interesting.
The kind of fun Spider-Man has.
the notes that I'll get to later is even the moments where he is heroic, the music is not even heroic. It's not even super bright and colorful. Even in those heroic moments, it is
Zimmer brought no theme.
Yeah,
which
it
is
is. It's
unfortunate.
very dour. It did make the top 10 for the year for 2013. Anyone want to take a guess as where it landed?
What do you mean where it landed?
Where it landed out of the top 10.
600? I mean, were movies
I'm
making $1 billion back then?
I'm going to say number 3.
It was 670 million. That's
I'll
what
go
it's
with
made
3.
to date.
I'll go with 3.
That's what it's made to date. Not quite. Because for the year, it had only made 291 million is what it made domestically that
What was
year.
the budget again? 220?
225.
How quickly it changes in 10 years. Like
Yeah.
Deadpool and Wolverine didn't that
Right.
make that opening weekend?
Yeah. It was number 5. Literally middle of the road. Anyone want to guess number 1 for 2013?
I don't
Let me see.
remember.
Going back, that's...
We have 1, 2, 3,
12 Years a Slave.
4,
No.
5, 6. There are out of 10 movies, 6 of them are sequels. 6.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's where we are.
Number 10, Hobbit.
Oh.
Desolation of Smaug. Number 9, Oz, the Great and Powerful. Number 8, Fast and Furious.
Spring movie.
6. 7, Gravity. 6, Monsters University. 5, Man of Steel. 4, Frozen. 3, Despicable Me. 2, Hunger Games Catching Fire. And 1, Iron Man 3.
Iron Man 3
Iron
got
Man
number
3.
1? Oh, buddy.
Here's a quick, fun little game for you. Okay, for worldwide PG-13 movies of all time, this movie ranks 102nd, making 670 million. 101 is The Sixth Sense, making 677 million. And 103 is Hunger Games Mockingjay, Part 2. So, this is the game. I'm going to give you a movie.
Okay.
You're going to tell me if it was higher ranked, and when I say higher, I mean less than 102.
So lower is better.
Lower is better.
Okay.
All right?
Man, I feel like there is so much math involved.
I'll throw you an easy one.
Okay. All right.
Man of Steel, of all time, PG-13 movies is number 102. Titanic, is it a lower number, as in it's closer to number 1,
Okay.
or is it a higher number, as in it made
way
less?
closer to number 1.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
So
Okay.
that was
okay.
that was a
okay,
softball.
okay. Less than.
Okay.
Got it.
I think closer to number 1 is the thing we'll say.
Okay. All right.
Or
Yes,
further
I love
away.
that.
Sure,
Yes,
sure.
let's
Closer
do
to
that.
1 or
That's
further
so
away.
much easier. Yes.
Absolutely.
I love that.
All right,
That's it.
we'll cut all this.
We don't
out.
want
We'll
people
cut
to
Justin out of the entire show, but I think mainly out of this part.
All right. Closer to 1 or further away? La La Land.
Closer to 1.
Yeah, boy, a bigger hit than one would think. I know it made 200 and something million in its run, but more than that one's going to put it right nearby. But is it above or below? I'm talking this out. I'm going to say it's above because I love that movie way more than this one. Meaning
what
it's
is
closer
above
to
me?
one.
Closer
Closer
to
to
one.
You love La La Land a lot more than a lot of movies.
You
So
love
that's
you
not-
Well, like a lot of
yeah.
people don't
You
like
are
life,
La
love,
La
art,
Love.
music, and movies, but if you do, you like La La Land.
Yeah.
Right.
Closer to one or further than one?
Closer to one.
It is further. It is number 140.
Oh,
Yes.
wow. Okay.
All right. Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. That would be the first Jumanji remake.
Oh.
The first one that The Rock did.
I think that's closer to one.
I do too, merely because of the cost of a ticket by the
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
time that came out.
It is. It is number 39, closer to one.
Wow, 39?
Yes.
What?
Da Vinci Code. The Da Vinci Code.
Huge
Is
hit,
it
closer to number one.
Closer to one.
I'll go with Paul because he knows movies.
Da Vinci Code is closer to one, although not as close as you would think. Number 78.
Okay.
Yeah, even though it was a huge hit. The Meg.
Oh,
The Meg.
that's got to be so.
There's a shark out there, and I'm gonna go
Jason
get it.
That has to be. That has to be.
I'm gonna
way-
punch it right in the
It's a
throat.
bit, and then I'm gonna feed it some bees.
He's Australian now. Oh, no.
We'll be back in a minute.
The Meg. It's a megalodon.
He's a Meg Ryan.
It's a Meg. It's a Meg Ryan.
It's a Meg, right?
It's a Meg Ryan.
It's a Megara from Hercules. It's a shark.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's
Closer to one? Further
no.
further away.
further
Further away.
It is further away. It is
Yeah.
135.
Are you marking on? Oh, I thought you were marking on
writing
your
it.
computer with a pen.
Oh, am I not supposed? I got this new stylus
what is
for my
happening
screen.
with
It's,
his, like,
it says Sharpie right on it.
doing over
What are you
there?
talking about? Here we go. Independence Day.
Yeah, Independence Day.
Yeah, no, that's closer. That's definitely closer to one.
Starring the Australian.
That's closer to
Jason
one for
Statham.
sure. Although Will Smith can eat it.
Closer it is, and Will Smith can't eat it. Number 65. It is closer to one. All right. Ocean's 11. Ocean's 11 is one of my favorite films of all time. Is that closer to one or further away from one?
Closer to
Yeah,
one.
no, man, that's a great movie. So here's another one. Where
Oh,
I'm
but it's
rooting
probably
for-
like 102.
Yeah, I'm rooting for
Yeah.
it because I rooted for La La Land and I got screwed on that. So I'm
Yeah.
going to root for it, but say it's further from one.
All right, I'll go with him.
It is 161.
Yeah.
Man of Steel is there's 59 other movies between those movies. Not fair because Ocean's 11 is fantastic.
Absolutely.
Softball. Captain Marvel.
Oh, way closer to one. That movie made $1 billion.
Oh, I mean, I'm glad to hear that. I like that.
And a
movie,
great
so-
high percentage of it must have been domestic. This
What-
is domestic only, right?
No, this
oh, no,
is
sorry,
worldwide.
this is world.
This is
Yeah, it made
worldwide.
$1 billion.
It did make $1 billion. This is 1.1. It's number 24. Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
further away from one, I think. Even though I love it.
I don't know. You can never discount Kurt Russell.
I bet you it made 700-800 million, and so half of that was domestic. So I'll go with closer to one.
Closer to one. It is number 54. All right, our final one. Iron Man 2. Closer to one or further away
That
from
has to,
one? From
please tell me that's further away from one, because God, that movie,
You didn't like that movie?
it's all right.
Your response of "it's all right" did not just say "it's all right." It meant that it's terrible. It's all right.
No, it's not terrible. Look, it's like getting in a jacuzzi that's lukewarm and the jets are working. It's still fine, but it's not great.
That's how I would describe Iron Man 3, honestly.
Okay.
I liked Iron Man
You guys
2
are
more
both
than I liked
crazy.
Iron Man 3.
Yeah, I
Iron
mean-
Man 2 at least there are parts of it that are a lot of fun. You know, Whiplash is cool. You know,
Robert
it's a
Downey
fun
Jr. is always
character.
brilliant. So he saves everything.
And Sam
just-
Rockwell, charming as hell.
Justin Hammer.
Yeah,
yeah,
come on.
I mean, I could do with that.
It was great. And 3 is great. He wins without the suit.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Great.
No, I don't like 3.
Great. I don't know.
Three had
Pierce.
way too many
Guy
parts.
Pierce.
Good.
I love the cast and I love the idea, but it just had too many
I will
plot
give
holes
you
for me.
good.
Too many plot holes.
Great.
Too many plot holes.
Yeah.
This made more money than your stupid Man of Steel. Please tell me. Well, Iron Man 2 made more.
Man of Steel 102, Iron Man 2 112.
Yeah.
Damn it.
It did not make as much.
You're welcome.
Iron Man 2 made 623 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Casting. Joe Manganiello. Joe Manganiello.
Manganiello?
Manganiello.
Look at Justin. He's like, I don't watch First Blood and Magic Mike. Sure you don't. Joe Manganiello.
First off, it's True Blood.
Whatever it is. You watched First Blood. You're a man.
Yeah. Do you know who he auditioned to be?
No.
What's that?
Joe Manganiello.
He was going to be Superman.
He was going to be Superman.
Yeah, he ended up being Deathstroke.
They literally offered it to him, and he turned it down. Had to turn it down because of scheduling.
Because he was in
conflicts.
First Blood.
True Blood. Tom Hardy was considered for a role that was cut. Do you know what role that was?
No.
Later made an appearance in Suicide Squad. Rick Flag.
Oh.
Yeah. He'd have been great as Rick Flag.
What is Rick Flag? What is that?
In Suicide Squad, he's basically the leader of all of them. Joel Kinnaman?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who ends up playing him? I think he plays him in the second one, right? For a brief moment.
In the new one will be Rick Flag Sr., played by Frank Grillo, which I'm very excited about.
Oh, yeah. Frank. That's great. Colin Farrell was cast as something, but the role was dropped.
Oh, it's too bad.
Role was dropped. He was going to be Constantine.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting, because all these things, and yet we don't have any other superheroes that really show up in this thing at all, but they had all these other ideas.
It just plays into the alien aspect all the more. Yeah.
Bryan Cranston, fan favorite. There were lots of rumors of this. Lots of people wanted this to happen. This did not happen.
That he was going to be Lex?
Rumored was going to be Lex. Yeah.
I mean, he would be a great Lex
he'd be a
Luthor.
fantastic
He'd
Lex
be a
Luthor.
great Lex Luthor.
He had his schedule conflict, so he was doing First Blood.
Mr. Luthor. Mr. Luthor.
He's doing. They do First Blood. I did. Heisenberg drew First Blood.
Do you know, have you guys heard the story about First Blood and how that movie got saved?
No.
Please tell me it's 20 minutes.
No. What's interesting, do you not like First Blood, by the way?
I do, of course.
Because I love that movie.
great.
Yeah. But it got saved. Sylvester Stallone originally had like all these lines. Like he had a bunch of lines. And basically he went into, like at some point went into the editing room. He's like, you got to cut my lines. I should not be talking. like he's like full on like cut all that stuff. And by cutting that down, it made the movie.
It made the movie that much better.
Yeah. And I'm like, come on, this guy, come on.
That's
What do you mean, like he was in the woods talking to himself or something?
I don't know. He had scenes or what, I don't know, whatever it was, like too much
He just
like.
had more dialogue.
Yeah, he had more dialogue.
Nothing is over!
Yeah.
He was great.
This one I found kind of fascinating. This actress, I'm not going to tell you who it is. I want you to guess. Was originally cast as Amanda Waller. They approached her first, and she turned it down.
Amanda Waller?
Yes.
I don't know who she
Instead
is.
of Amanda Waller, she's the one who sends them into the Suicide Squad movies.
No.
In Suicide Squad, it's Viola Davis.
Yeah, exactly. And she reprises her role in other places as Amanda Waller.
Correct.
Including even animation. Oprah Winfrey.
Oh.
Oprah Winfrey would have been badass as Amanda Waller. She really would have been.
I love
She's
Oprah
very nice.
as an actor. She's great.
Too nice. I don't know. I think it would have
No,
been great.
she's awesome.
Before we go on to...
I want to know when there would be a good moment to have a serious moment. So you let me know.
At the very end, when we're done with everything, and there's nothing else to say, then you get to have Sean's serious moment.
Okay. I do have a sincere, serious moment.
So I shouldn't put a jingle
Have we?
in front of it,
Were we
like,
supposed to not take anything you've said seriously?
No. This is actually serious. So
Okay.
I do have a serious thing to say about this film.
About this movie?
Yes.
Do you want an intro to
It sounds like you want to do it now.
Okay, I'll do it now.
Okay, do it now. And we know the editors. We could just cut it. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Well, I'm just going to say this. This movie is very personal for me. It's very close to my heart. And the reason it is because it was the last movie I ever saw with my sister before she passed away.
Yeah.
And so I hadn't seen this movie since that. That was a little emotional for me.
I'm sure.
Yeah. And when she passed away, I did like the eulogy and put together the video and all that stuff. And I actually used a lot of the music from this because that was such a meaningful moment. We hadn't seen a lot of movies together in our lives, but it was one of the movies we did see together. And so this movie means a lot to me. So anyway, I just wanted to share that story because I love my sister and I miss her. And yeah. So that's it.
Well, I'm glad we didn't wait till the end. On
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
that was really sweet.
Thanks.
And that makes me think two things. One, what a great thing for you to re-experience, and just remember her in a wonderful way.
Oh yeah.
And two, you probably like this movie far more than Paul and
Yeah,
I
I
did
feel.
because of that.
I feel.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I think Paul should feel terrible right now
know,
for how much he's going to dislike this movie.
I pre-feel bad for the things I'm going to say.
No. I didn't say any of that for anybody to, you could have your feelings about it, of course, but it is personal because of that. But I also will say, aside from that personal story, I actually really do like this as just a movie, but also as a Superman movie. For me, this movie ticks a lot of boxes that actually I feel like the other Superman movies don't. I have mentioned in some of the other podcasts that we joke about it in the beginning of this podcast, like, well, does he fight the bad guys? Like, I've always kind of said, like, so he's stopping some bank robberies? Is this a good use of this person
powerful man in the
most
world?
Powerful man ever known? Like, well, you stopped that bank robbery. Well, thanks, Superman. There's like 60 people over here who died in a fire. Like, I mean, I feel like this movie utilized his power in a way we had never seen before. Even the fight scene, I know I'm jumping ahead, but what the heck, we do it every episode. Even the fight scene at the very end with Zod, I mean, it's so epic, and it gets so big within the city and all of that stuff. Now, I have some issues with that. I'm always like, okay, how many people just got murdered in that building that just got...
Tens of thousands.
Knocked down, so... But, yeah.
He did, in the first movie, reverse the rotation of the Earth. So his powers have been pretty...
Why did he do that?
For love.
For love.
Yeah, which
he did that. I love that movie. But seriously, he did that for himself. He did not do that as some sort of altruistic act to make things right in the world and the universe. He did that because the one person he had fallen in love with was gone. So, now...
Superman is selfish.
I mean, in that moment, for sure, right? Because he does meddle with what he's not supposed to, right? What his dad says.
I think he got us there, Sean.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, he the rest of the world was also saved from the earthquakes and the things. The Girl Scouts didn't have the Hollywood sign fall on him. But technically, he didn't know he was saving them.
Right.
So he just did it for himself.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean...
Changing gears, leading into this, did you know that Zack Snyder had a 5-movie Superman arc? This is something I've never seen, which was fascinating to me. My biggest problem with this film, and before we talk too much about it, but I want to go over this arc right now.
Let's not talk about this.
Which Paul will bring up over and over again, and I've heard Paul say several times, is that no one likes Superman.
Right.
He's not Superman. Schneider was not intending Superman to be liked and be the Superman that we all love until the end of the 5th movie. I'm going to give you the 5.
Until the end of the fifth movie?
Yeah, he's got this massive arc. 5 movies. Wow. I'm going to give this to you.
Well, he only did 3, and I don't think anybody liked him.
Right.
With those 3 movies.
Wait a second. I have a question.
Yeah.
Were Superman v Batman, Dawn of Justice, whatever that was that part of the arc?
It was.
Oh, okay.
It was.
So was Justice League also?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
All right. So first, Man of Steel. Superman's origin story is reimagined. Clark Kent struggles with his alien identity and accepts his role as Earth's protector. Major theme, alienation. Climax, Superman kills Zod, marking a defining moment in his arc. Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice. Overview. Superman's place in the world is questioned. Batman sees him as a threat. Lex Luthor manipulates him to pit them against each other. Major theme, fear, godhood, redemption. Climax, Superman sacrifices himself to kill Doomsday. So far, right on track. Number 3, Zack Snyder's Justice League. The world faces a cosmic threat. Superman is resurrected and helps defeat Steppenwolf. The major theme, resurrection and legacy. Climax, Superman returns as a confident, hopeful symbol of heroism. Movie number 4, Justice League 2. Darkseid invades Earth. The League is defeated. Superman falls into the anti-life equation after Lois dies.
Whoa.
The major theme is tragedy, the fall of a hero, and the key point is that the nightmare future is realized and Superman ends up becoming Darkseid's enforcer. So movie 4, he turns bad. All bad. Right? Then Justice League.
I'm just going to say, I think people would have hated that.
Right?
I mean, Batman v Superman alone is like,
Yeah. Yeah.
but to get to that place,
point
where now you just literally,
Because you're no longer watching a Superman movie, right?
not only that, I think that slaps the face of the story that they did set up in this movie, which is his love for his Earth Mother.
Yeah. Then, finally, number 5, Justice League 3. Heroes travel back in time to prevent Lois's death and save Superman. The major theme is redemption and restoration. The climax, Batman sacrifices himself, Superman resists Darkseid, and the League wins. Superman becomes Earth's true guardian.
Why is it always time travel?
Yeah.
It's
good question.
always time travel. I know we talk about Endgame all the time, and you guys always say it's a time heist, it's not time travel, but it's still time travel. I still argue that these things are just too convenient.
I
Oh, no.
what
An Endgame? Boy, is that not convenient. Everything is complicated in Endgame. I would agree many places use it as a quick fix, but Endgame is...
But they still use time travel. They still go back. I mean, we've had this conversation before, but they,
literally on this podcast.
yeah. But I'm just saying, they still go back and they still save everybody, and they just kind of undo things. I mean, it's similar to Superman the movie, what we just talked about, right? You know, you circle the Earth and everything goes back, and isn't it great? I think there's something about...
They go back and they don't undo. They steal the stones.
I'm also going to jump in and say it's not necessarily just time travel that they are doing, because they do explain it's essentially the beginning of the multiverse, right? They go back in time. They're now in a literally a different universe. It's exactly our own, but they have now altered it. It is now its own universe. So time travel does actually work in a multi-universal theory.
You see the timeline.
Exactly.
Here. We started here, and then we went there. But if we go back here and we go there, we're not together. See?
Whereas
It's a little more complicated in the quantum realm.
Yeah,
Sean.
exactly. Anyway, erasing that.
All right.
Not dealing with that. I look at this 5-movie arc and I go, yeah, Zack Snyder, I think you were 100% on the track of what you wanted to do. And if I am a producer on this, I go, this is a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Even the first...
Do not do this to we have to wait 5 movies before we get the guy that we want to see?
Even the first movies went bad. Superman went evil in the 3rd film, not the 4th one.
Right.
And even in Spider-Man 3, Peter Parker went evil by the 3rd one.
Right.
This 4th one's nonsense.
It's nonsense.
Why, that's nonsense, you see?
I tells
feel
you.
like you're mocking me.
No,
because
I'm just saying Snyder is slow.
I just
but I
wanna
will
tell you-
listen. I will not correct you saying Schneider because I think it's funny every time you do it. Continue.
And I always think of one
day at a time.
One day at a
One day
time.
at a time.
Yeah.
Always remember, don't ever forget.
I set this up that I was going to get this wrong nonstop in literally episode 1 of this podcast. I cannot remember to say Snyder instead of Schneider.
I just want to say I feel a little tension about Endgame, and I love you guys. And I hope we can still be friends.
We can
It's
still
just
be
a
friends. I just
movie.
recognize you're wrong.
It's just a movie. Yeah, you can be totally wrong about it. You're still our bud.
Precisely. All right, let's actually go into the specifics of the movie. All right?
Yeah, why not? We're
let me start
45
at the
minutes in.
beginning.
Let's
Let me start at the beginning. Krypton.
No. Fade in. Warner Brothers look.
Yes, it's steel. I understand, Zach.
Right, but didn't you think the graphics were cool?
I guess.
No?
Yes,
Sure.
I
The
did.
graphics were-
Yes.
I thought the graphics
Yes.
were cool.
I
Oh my
And
God.
the score right off the bat is
Pulverizing.
I said ominous is what I would use, but it becomes pulverizing because
It's dour as all hell.
it's dour, and that's our film right there.
Yeah.
Our color palette and our music are
Everything
dour.
sucks.
I really liked all the Krypton stuff.
So you think action battle sequence better than trial sequence?
Well, first of all, I think they're just both of them such different films on so many levels. Incomparable.
Whatever
But-
ideas he had, I couldn't see them past the lens flares anyway. But
This whole thing with the what's the skull thing called?
The Codex.
Codex. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that storyline gets a little. I don't know.
That
storyline.
it is-
You know,
It's so
But I
manufactured.
yes, it is. But I will say this again. What I like about what they were trying to do. I'm not saying they got it all. But what I like about what they tried to do was they tried to make it just a little bit bigger. A little bit.
It's an impressively imagined Krypton.
I mean, everything
100%.
is
so many creatures. I've
so
never thought
much-
about the creatures on Krypton before.
Well, and the idea that
Babies in bubbles.
everyone's DNA is in his blood. I mean, that makes his literal importance even bigger.
Well, yeah, no,
You
it makes
know-
him Jesus even more so.
So
Oh, enough Christ posing, for Christ's sake.
I will say this that I found kind of funny. When you have Russell Crowe
yeah.
as Jor-El, you got to play to his strengths. So you get Michael Shannon and Russell Crowe and this big fight scene. I do not see Terrence Stamp and Marlon Brando doing that same fight scene.
No.
True. You will give the people of Earth an ideal to strive for in 5 movies.
That's right. In
Not
5
right out of the
movies.
gate.
Yeah.
We have
Yeah.
places to go.
The Codex, I've seen this movie 2 other times, and literally coming back to it this point, this third time I went, wait a minute. A Codex? A skull? The Codex is a skull? Isn't that a little on the nose, for one? And 2, what? I mean, come on.
I mean, I don't know. I do enjoy that whole sequence, though. I mean, he goes and gets it, and I don't know. It's fun.
You don't have to apologize for me that you don't like this. I don't need to try and
No.
dislike this movie like I made you dislike Thunderbolt.
That's it. No. Look, this is what we're here to discuss, and our opinions are what we're sharing. So I'm on board with all of it, but I feel like there was a lot of thought given to all this stuff. I mean, if you look in the behind the scenes, like, okay, the S alone on his, and the fact that they made this a symbol that actually means hope. I don't know if you watched any of the behind the scenes of that, but like, there's a whole, and I actually got bored in this section, but there's a whole section about how they made a whole language for all this stuff.
Linguistics
brought in
to actually
linguistics,
create a
and
new
then of course they
alphabet
decided
and all
to
that
interview all these people too.
Yeah. Not everyone needs to be interviewed.
But I mean, I respected the fact that they did all of this, and they really were trying to create something different and unique. Now, again, I do think it goes back to an argument that we've all said, which is, why doesn't anybody go back to the comics?
Yeah.
I think at one point, one of the producers in the behind the scenes says something like, no, we like literally didn't want to look at the comics. And I'm like,
Why?
That's your source material. That's like saying we're going to make a movie about the Bible, but we're never going to read it.
Oh,
like
no,
that.
no,
Like
yeah.
what? No, you can't just assume you know. Like you have to go look.
Oh, we're back to Noah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
I will agree that, once again, Zack Schneider is very. Now I'm starting to recognize it. Zack Schneider is a very visual, and he always has been a very visual director. The filling out of Krypton, making it big and putting in animals and going so deep in all of their technology and everything to fill out the world. So much so that I was even like, I'm not sure what's happening now, but I do recognize this is something that happens in their world.
Right.
So a compliment?
Yes. He does all this, of course, with an inability to engage your heart,
Well, there is that. 100%. Yeah.
in my opinion.
I will say I liked the craft. I thought the
Certainly.
craft was really cool looking.
Services?
Craft services was great. They had some
Bagels?
Bagels.
Bagels, like 3 different kinds of
Three
bagels.
different. They had the sesame seed.
Yep, yeah.
And the plain.
And the jalapeno
pumpkin.
with cheese.
But
Pumpkin. The jalapeno with cheese pumpkin. It's not a lot of people. It's only for a select few.
don't worry, everybody. The bit's almost over.
Cavill was 30 when they actually released this. The film is gritty. The film is morose. Okay. Anything that I've said leading up to when he gets to Earth, you guys want to touch on? Ship was cool. I don't know how long the ship was
Yeah.
in space.
Did they didn't do that same thing that they did in the original Superman movie where he's
No.
kind of which I really loved in the original Superman movie. I always thought that was really cool, that sequence.
I will say this. I appreciated how non-linear it was. The constant flashbacks to things. I appreciated
Yep.
that as opposed to, okay, we're going to start on Krypton, and then this happens, and then these guys fight.
It was weird that Jor-El said, It's too late, Zod. I've sent my son away with all the knowledge of, oops, I've said too much.
Right.
I never had a son. Sorry. Let's just pretend I never said I had a son.
He's actually left the atmosphere. No, he's not still here.
There's no son. There's no one you should be looking for.
Yeah. Okay, so we got a few scenes in there where we realize he's a man on the run. Essentially, every time he saves a bunch of people's lives, he has to go somewhere else and move on. Like it, dislike it.
I love it. I think
sets up realism.
The producers, when they were interviewed about that sequence, they talked about how he is trying to find himself, and I think that's what that is. Definitely a pull from the original Superman movie where he goes off and is trying to. Basically creates the Fortress of Solitude and all that stuff. But I think he was trying to find himself. I thought that was an interesting sort of self-discovery thing. And that goes back to what I was saying before. I really like that this film does sort of take its time to get to Superman.
I can appreciate that.
Yeah,
I did appreciate that.
I really did like that. And by the way, we haven't talked about it much. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I love Henry Cavill. I think he's great in this role.
I think so too.
And I think for as dark as the film is and as unlikable as the writers wrote it, he makes him likable.
With the exception of the whole idea of the Codex, which was just out of nowhere for me and just such a reason. Just like, we got to get a reason for Zod to want to kill Superman. Oh, okay, well, he's got the Codex, and so he wants to wipe out the planet, but he wants to, outside of that, which I just absolutely really disliked, Superman's story for the first half of this movie, I really enjoyed. Mm-hmm. I really did. Yep. But I got that moroseness. I wanted the second half to be nothing but uplifting, 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 uplifting. That's what I wanted. And Zack Snyder didn't want to give that to me until 4.5 films later.
Is it uplifting? No. Is it hopeful? Yes.
I don't know.
Oh, no, 100%. Because, when he goes in and he's basically fighting that machine that's whatever that thing is doing. I forgot what it's called.
Yeah, terraforming.
Terraforming, yeah. When he's fighting that and he's basically at the bottom of it and doesn't seem like he's going to be able to muster up the energy to do this, and he finds that energy. I love that moment. He just flies up and goes right through it, and it's a stellar, cool moment, and
it's a cool visual.
Yeah, it's a cool visual. And I will say this: that whole sequence at the end, the fight scene. One of my big gripes about DC superhero movies in general is that the majority of them end in this huge fight scene where we don't really even know where we are in time or space.
Right.
So Wonder Woman is a great example. I think Wonder Woman is actually one of their best.
I agree.
I love that movie. I think there's that war field moment when she goes across the
no man's land.
Absolutely, I think one of the greatest superhero moments of any superhero movie ever. I love it. I think she does a great job with it. But at the end of that movie, it gets so big with that fight. Yeah. So big.
It's unnecessary. The movie's over when Steve Trevor sacrifices
exactly,
himself.
Yeah. You're they're literally fighting. I'm like, where is ground? I don't even know where the ground is. I used to feel like Man of Steel was kind of like that, where we get into this huge fight and we kind of don't quite know where we are. Actually, watching it again this time, I was like, no, I know where we are. I thought they did a good job with it, although I still have an issue with the amount of buildings they destroy.
Yeah.
No, DC is the problem now that people say, oh, these superhero movies end in just CGI nonsense. No, the DC movies do. You're not paying attention if you're saying otherwise. Doctor Strange ended with just him annoying a guy. Thunderbolts ends with a hug. These are not all the same as DC, but DC is a repeat offender. Even Shazam just ends with a bunch of turds flying around, and Green Lantern same.
Remember the turds?
Remember there's 5 turds flying around, this big black brown blobs that Shazam's got to fight. All the stuff about us having fun with Shazam out the window, so we can have this big CGI, stupid fest.
Right.
And so they ruin that all the time, and they make the wrong call, and they're going to do it again in Batman vs. Superman. They learn nothing from this movie. At one point, and we'll get to it, but Batman says, I gotta lure the bad guy back to Gotham for some reason, so there could be more collateral damage. They learn nothing.
Yeah.
The filmmakers, the characters, nobody learns anything over at DC. It's crazy.
Yeah, all of that I think is true. And, to your point, one of the great things about Endgame
Is most of it.
Yeah.
is that it ends in a funeral, and it ends with
Yeah.
So that's why I guess it really ends with Steve Rogers, but that moment, right? Like it doesn't end in a big fight scene. It ends in mourning and love and relationship, and that's something I talk about a lot, which is good movies always come back to love and relationships. Right. It doesn't matter if it's a superhero film or if it's just a drama or even if it's a comedy. At some point, it should come back to love and relationships.
You can hear more about Sean's thoughts on love and his other podcast, which is called It Always Ends with Love with Sean.
Hold me.
Even his heroic scenes as a kid, the music is barely uplifting, and we always cut to his heroics being a problem.
The music and the fight just gets super boring and repetitive at the end. I agree with you about the first half being more interesting, and then it's just like it's the same thing over and over again, where they're just destroying things and buildings are falling, and this whole thing is like he's not a savior. He's barely a superhero. He's cleaning up a mess that was brought to Earth by his presence. I'm waiting for him to like be a superhero.
Yeah.
Like Captain America just makes the right decisions when there's evil afoot.
Yeah.
He'll kick the crap out of everybody in that elevator. That's what Superman has yet to do that, and we've watched a whole movie called Man of Steel.
Yeah.
There's a scene near the end where Superman takes a drone missile or something, whatever it is, and crashes it. And he has a scene with the general or
Harry Lennox,
whatever his character is, right? And the female general's there as well, younger woman. And he basically says, I see you're trying to find out where I hang my cape. And he basically says, not going to happen. Like, you're never going to find where I hang my cape. So stop
They should
trying.
just ask the Polar Police because they know.
Yeah, because the Polar Police, they
arrested
they're still
Lex.
up there. They go visit him because they have salmon. But but that scene, I bring it up because it really was so out of place in so many ways. Like, it was a weird moment, and then it ends with the girl being like, he's kind of hot.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? We're ending on a bit?
Yeah.
And the reason I'm bringing this up, too, is because he says, I want to work with you on my terms. Okay, let's talk about the idea that you're an alien, and because you were here, these other aliens came and wanted to turn our world into their world. And so, I don't know, thousands, maybe a million people died because of you. So what are we talking about here?
Yeah.
The general doesn't say anything really back, or it's just like he kind of lets him have that moment and he flies away and whatever. It was a weird moment. I wish they hadn't had that moment at all.
I think throughout the film there's several weird moments. His dad's whole point of view. Literally in a monologue that Kevin Costner has. I wrote this down. He says, you were sent here for a reason, Clark. And then 10 seconds later, but we got to hide this side of you. And it's like, he keeps saying, you're here for a reason. You're here, but don't save me. You're here for a reason. You're here for a reason. And finally, he gives one justification later on, and it is, the world is not ready for you.
Right.
So you're here for a reason. Don't save anybody until the world is ready for that's his point of view.
Yeah.
David S. Goyer, we want you to come on the show and explain this.
I'll do you one more, which is one of my big problems with this film is what happens to his dad, the tornado. It sort of seals the deal of what he says to him, right? Like, we're going to hide because you could run here and grab me and we'd be good. And then all those people just saw that.
Yeah.
And now we got to figure that out, right?
Right.
So, but instead, you know what? I'll just go ahead and sacrifice myself.
You can't get hurt. Don't go. I
Yeah.
can get hurt. I'll go.
Yeah. And it's like, I really have a problem with that because one of the things I love in Superman the movie is how his dad dies. Because he has a heart attack.
Yeah. After playing with him.
And it's just something he can't, with all his power.
Yeah.
It's something he just can't save him. He can't fix that. And it humanizes the alien.
Yeah.
Right? They should have done something more like that instead of what they ended up doing. I really like Kevin Costner in the role. I thought he was very good in the
Kevin
role.
Costner's
I
great.
wonder if it would have been like Groundhog Day.
except Robin Hood.
Like if at that time he realized if I spun around the world, I'd bring my dad back. Then he dies again. You know, like I wonder if that would have been an interesting sort of
That's interesting.
side note story to see if that happened.
That's an interesting.
And then by the time he
exploration.
gets to Lois,
it's one of the flashpoints. So it's one of the points in
Paradox.
Flashpoint.
Is it
where-
really?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
You're saying
it could
enough of
be,
that. There's
yeah.
certain things you can change time, but there's certain things that are going to happen. No matter what.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, this was one of the other things. And once again, it goes back to if you start manufacturing something, you paint yourself into a corner. Okay, so the probe that Clark finds is from thousands of years ago. So the Kryptonians sent out these probes to find other possible places that they could possibly colonize. So they send this ship to Earth thousands and thousands of years ago. Okay, so maybe that's how Jor-El found out about Earth, but never told Clark the probe was there. So Clark finding the ship, total coincidence, and that's the only way that he's able to learn about his past.
Yes.
Seems kind of short-sighted of Jor-El.
I mean, that is one storyline that I have an issue with on this, which is it's the same thing from the original movie, right? You know, you have this technology to go to other planets, but we're just going to send the baby.
Yeah.
What? How about you just build a ship and don't tell anybody? Get the hell out of there.
Right.
What do we do? Stop going to meetings.
Has anyone seen Jor-El?
Roll call.
Yeah.
Jor-El.
Look.
Jor-El.
Can somebody
Jor-El.
text him?
Brianna, have you seen Jor-El?
When was the last time anybody talked to Laura?
Thank you, Brianna.
I'm talking about before the separation, not Laura L, just Laura.
I don't understand it. And then so they have these ships. They sent out these ships. But no, we're going to stay on this planet even though it might be doomed.
Well,
I mean, again, what?
Okay.
What are we talking about? I don't understand.
and on top of it, okay, so a planet exploding, a large enough explosion breaks up the Phantom Zone. It's no longer a nuclear explosion, so it doesn't have to be radiation, just has to be a planet blowing up destroys the Phantom Zone. Okay. Wouldn't the Kryptonians have thought, in space, something that happens is there a large explosion sometimes? An unstoppable force hits an immovable object. That's a thing that happens in space. Creates a giant explosion. But tell you what, let's take our absolute worst people, we'll put them in this Phantom Zone, and we'll send them out in this thing that may or may not be broken open.
500 yards away.
Right.
That's fine.
Exactly.
Right?
I don't know. I had a problem with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, all of that, yes.
That's a little picky, but when you veer so far from what could be so simple and has been done so simply,
Yeah.
it's on you to not screw it up.
Yeah.
If you could change one thing in this movie, if somebody came to you and said, you can change one thing, what would you change that you think might fix this movie for you?
Ooh.
There's a follow-up, which is, are there too many things that one wouldn't be enough?
Well, I still don't know if we're getting an origin story with the new Superman movie. I hope not. I would have not done that here. We just, I know it was 7 years since the last movie, but still, we don't need to do from the beginning again. Clearly, like you said, they've had all these visions about how they were going to do it, so it would be different. So that could be enough reason to do it, but you don't need to. Fade in. I'll do Sean. Fade in. Metropolis. Bad guys are doing something. Superman beats them. We establish that Superman's been in Metropolis and he's saving humans until a bigger threat comes. That's your movie. I mean, that no one's done that yet.
Right. Yeah.
Except for Superman 2.
I think
That's interesting, by the way. I love that.
Yeah.
The way I would have changed it is I would have done fade in. Chris Nolan is saying, I'm sorry, Zach, Ben Affleck is going to be directing this movie. I think that would be the change that I would want to happen.
You would have liked to have seen Ben Affleck?
I think Ben Affleck understands simple storytelling.
At the heart of all these movies, even back to our Marvel movies, right? At the end of the day, what really makes these movies great? Yeah, it's great to watch the fight scenes and all that stuff, but like if you don't care about the characters,
100%.
If you don't care, like, look, we talk about, like, my beloved Star Wars and all of that stuff. And we talk about the prequels and even the sequel trilogy, right? The big complaint that most people have about those movies is that they didn't love the characters. They didn't connect with those characters. They didn't care about them, right? Not in the same way that people had fallen in love with the original characters. And ultimately, I think you have to fall in love with these characters and you have to care about them. Otherwise, what's the point, right? Like, what are you watching? You have to feel something for these characters, which I will say I did feel a lot for Superman. I loved Henry Cavill's performance with it in general. I mean, when he kills Zod, that scream and that feeling that, like, he has no choice but to do this.
Yeah.
I feel like he did a good job with what the weight of that moment was.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
Yeah, it was weird that, it took that family of 4 for him to finally go, that's enough. Those thousands of people are dead out there in the buildings.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. Also, okay, in order to stop Zod, we have to hit his spaceship with another spaceship. That's the crux of our Superman movie. If we want to stop, or our scientists say, if we want to stop him, we got to take your spaceship that you rode in on and crash it into that one, and that'll stop all the terraforming and everything going on. Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's a hole there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just go, I don't know. Okay, sure, I guess.
This goes
That's
back to Paul's hatred of the Black Adam movie. And what do you always say? He does he does? You always say that.
Yeah. They introduce stuff halfway through the movie.
Yeah.
That is important plot points.
Yeah. And
if that guy wanted to die so he could go into the afterlife and then become more powerful. He did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Well, okay, good job.
Because again, Raiders of the Lost Ark, hey, this is what happens if you don't get the Ark, go.
Right.
We don't introduce any other nonsense halfway through. It's just...
I'm going to tell you.
It's just cat and mouse.
Just the other day, I started watching Raiders of the Lost Ark again. Just for fun, just because I wanted to watch it.
Yeah.
Because I love it so much. And I love that movie for so many reasons, and I know we're not here to talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. One of the things that was odd, though, I will say, is that I was watching it on Disney Plus, and I don't know if it's like this whole 4K thing, like everybody's trying to upscale everything, but I was watching the opening sequence, which is one of my favorite opening sequences of any movie ever. All the way through them talking about the Ark, all the way through him getting the assignment and getting on the plane. That, to me, that's the whole thing's the opening for me.
There is, side note, there is no better exposition scene in any movie ever than okay, that's not true. The exposition scene where they have, oh my God, now I can't even remember the
Blazing
actor's
Saddles?
name. No. It's in the original Ant-Man where he goes, my cousin Lisa was talking to...
Oh, yeah.
That's the greatest exposition of all time.
What's his name? Yeah.
But I absolutely love the whole exposition scene with the FBI guys.
Yeah.
Like, it's fantastic. I can just sit there. It's a chalkboard and guys at a table and him explaining. That's all it is. And
they might as well look at the audience when it's over and go, got it?
Yeah.
Go.
100%.
Yeah.
No, nothing stupid will be introduced from here on out. You know what's at stake.
Yeah.
Go.
Right.
I have a hard time sometimes watching on these, these streaming services. I feel like they're messing with our films. I was watching it and I was like, this looks brighter than I've ever seen this look. Huh. The opening sequence when he's going and, he's the whip and he's swinging across the thing and he's like, throw the idol, all that stuff, right? And I'm like, this is so bright. I don't remember this being this bright.
Did you see the idol's eyes move? That was an early idea that they cut, but if you look, you can see him very briefly.
Oh.
The eyes of the fertility idol move?
Yeah.
Interesting.
As like it's still alive?
Like it was alive the whole time, but they cut that idea, so there's only one shot where it still kind of happens, otherwise it doesn't.
Whoa! That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I found that out since we did our countdown to Dial of Destiny show.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah. Anyway, I just, I wish they would stop messing with stuff. Even the soundtrack, there were a couple of moments where I was like, I've seen this movie a lot. I don't remember that sound. Are they remixing stuff to such a degree and recoloring stuff every single time they put it up on a new streaming service, or they release the Blu-ray 4K or whatever it is. It's like, guys, just leave the movie alone. Because I go back to when I saw Raiders with you at the Beverly, and it was Quentin Tarantino's print, and some of the colors were great and some of them weren't, and I loved all of it. Because it's just the way I remember.
Not messed with.
Yeah, it's not messed with. Stop messing with stuff.
You know what's hilarious about that, though? Did you read about this? Literally just happened. It was last weekend. Did you hear about the
Star Wars print?
The Star Wars print. They had a print that was supposedly a really good print from 1977 that they showed to audiences, and audiences came out and they're like, "Wow, that was awful." The big thing was they said it looked like a movie made in the 70s. All of a sudden, you've got, your cardboard walls that look like cardboard walls. Your sound isn't all that good.
Right.
It's still
Boxes.
around the ships as they fly through. Kathleen Kennedy introduced it. It was sanctioned to watch. But people went, this didn't look good. And because, although he screwed with plots and everything when he made changes, Lucas, later in his career, he did soup up the visuals and sound of those movies extensively.
He did.
So.
If I haven't seen it in a long time because I don't own a Laserdisc player anymore, but I still own my Laserdisc version of Empire Strikes Back. And I remember watching it, and because, that was like the Criterion Collection version, and I remember watching it and going, can kind of see these boxes as the TIE fighters going around. And I was like, the hell is going on here? And it's just because it was such a clear scan and print or whatever, that they made this Criterion Collection from. Anyway.
On that Laserdisc, there is a concept trailer for Empire Strikes Back.
Oh.
Have you seen this? It's only done with concept images and a voiceover that goes, "It's the second installment of the Star Wars trilogy. Now we find our heroes on Hoth." And it's Harrison Ford doing the voice.
There's a whole interview with Paul Hirsch talking about how they wanted a trailer, and he's like, I don't have the footage to make a trailer. He cut the movies. I think he asked Mark Hamill to do it, but Mark Hamill didn't do it because for some reason, I can't remember what it was. I wish I could, but boy, the story would be much more exciting. But he couldn't do it. Was it because of the motorcycle accident?
That's the whole story. Mark Hamill didn't do it. That was it.
I think it was because of his character's arc or something. He didn't think he would come in and be like, da-da-da-da.
Yeah. Right.
But they could with Han Solo, I guess. But
although it's not Han Solo, it is. Now we read our character.
It's a very uncharacteristic Harrison Ford. Is super excited.
Yes.
Way excited.
No, you don't ever hear that. It must have been before he started smoking.
Yeah, exactly. Then it became... Well, we were out on Hoth, and I still ran into this Wampa.
Yep.
Thank God they cut down that Wampa. That was supposed to be a much bigger plot.
Oh, it was.
Oh, yeah.
It was. There was supposed to be Jaws on the planet.
Yeah.
The snow monster.
Yeah.
They cut it all.
Thank God.
Thank God. I feel like we've talked so little about this movie, in all honesty. Little about the plot.
I'm not going to lie. I think we talked about 18 minutes about other stuff.
My final note that I have on this before I were to talk about the whole thing, and because I take notes while I watch the movie, was just, wow, so much destruction. How cliche. And where do you go from here? Can you top this? This was so over the top. Yes, the visual effects are cool in theory, but it just doesn't work. For one, Superman would have led Zod out of the city. I think we reviewed this on...
Why didn't he?
Superman would have gotten him away from the city so he couldn't do anything. He just said, given him the finger and said, follow me. And then they should have had shots which would be like them fighting in Egypt, them fighting in the Amazon, them fighting in the Arctic, them fighting in the middle of the ocean, them fighting underwater.
Yeah.
All these things. Instead, they just keep destroying the buildings.
Yeah. That's interesting.
And that's why I said in the next one, Batman will lure whatever fight is going on back to the city. And I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this again? Leave the regular people alone. It's enough collateral damage.
Yeah.
The collateral damage meant something in Marvel.
That's true.
Gave Wanda PTSD. Anyway.
Sokovia, absolutely.
How did you feel about Amy Adams and her being Lois Lane?
I mean, there's no real love story going on.
The moment when they kiss,
I like her.
Feels more like, thank God I'm alive, and I'm just gonna kiss you because you're hot and I'm alive,
right?
And I'm caught up in this moment. It doesn't necessarily feel like anything other than that. Real quick sidebar with regard to Lois Lane and Superman. She knows he's Clark Kent, right?
At the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm crapping on this movie. Great ending, in my opinion. Fantastic ending.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to be Clark. He's going to go in. He's going to learn about the world. And she says, "Welcome to the planet." That's a great ending.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true. The welcome to
Yeah.
the planet.
Yeah. Hey, you said something you liked. That's so cool.
I also want to bring back sideburns after watching Cavill. So I got more
You
out
got
of the
some
movie
stuff.
than you
You got
think.
some stuff. That's good.
I liked her as Lois Lane more than Kate Bosworth.
Oh yes, so much more. Kate Bosworth, she's a great actor.
She's a
she
great
was
actress.
just miscast.
She was.
It's very modern too. She's not the plucky reporter. She's like a real reporter.
Yeah.
And it's not as charming, but she's good at whatever she does because she's Amy Adams.
One of the
100%.
plot points that I did take issue with was was her being like suddenly like on the military plane and like, you and this guy, you take care of this thing.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
What? Why are you having the random reporter take care of something that clearly should be done by someone in the military? Like, because she knows how to do it. She can't tell somebody, you put it in that hole.
Yeah.
Like, huh? And we're not going to make any put it in the hole jokes?
Nope.
Got it. Okay.
Steered way clear. Any other thoughts on the actual movie?
I did like the score for personal reasons, but
I get that.
But I didn't feel that it was not hopeful. It's not as joyful as the original Superman score, for sure.
Yeah.
Is it not hopeful? I don't know. I think there's a little bit of hope in there.
Okay, Paul?
I liked when a spaceship landed in Martha Kent's yard.
Yeah.
That was a cool visual.
Yeah.
That was a nice juxtaposition of the otherworldly and the very, very quaint.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which was cool.
How did you feel about the fact that like they like threw the truck into the house and then like, I don't know, 15 minutes later, she's like inside cleaning up.
Still picking. Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. I have mixed feelings a little bit about that, but
Yeah.
I also want to see Cavill be Bond. I just want it.
Yeah.
He's 42. It's not too late. He needs to be a part of a franchise that everybody loves.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
he is good and we all like him.
Yeah.
He'd be a great Bond.
He'd be a
Why
great
not?
one. I really wanted Idris Elba, but
That would have been great too.
Yeah, I agree on both counts. We got him as Napoleon Solo. I'd still love to see a second Man from U.N.C.L.E. I really, I know I'm in the minority on this. I loved Man from U.N.C.L.E. I thought it was just such a fun film. Him and Armie Hammer, although, Armie Hammer isn't so liked anymore.
Well, I guess we don't have any fun facts about Man of Steel, so I think that's their show. Or wait a minute, what?
Fun facts for Man of Steel. Russell Crowe and Henry Cavill had met prior to this movie. Years before playing father and son, Jor-El and Kal-El, Henry Cavill was an extra in the movie Proof of Life in the year 2000. He actually met Russell Crowe there. Crowe was very impressed with Cavill, encouraged him to pursue acting, and gave him an autographed picture.
no way. No way.
Come on, how great would that be?
That's awesome.
Sign of the times. People don't want that anymore. They just want the photo. I heard an interview with
God, that makes me
Sarah
sad.
Jessica Parker the other day.
I
She's
heard
like,
the same
of
thing.
Howard Stern?
Yeah.
Yeah. And she was like, don't even ask for the photo. People come up and they just say, can I get a photo? She said, well, what are we doing? I mean, of what? Of the interaction we didn't have? It's like, come up and talk to me. I'll talk to you. I'll find you interesting, maybe if you are.
Yep.
And we'll know. And then you'll have had a moment.
Yeah.
And then maybe a photo if there's something to remember the moment we had. Otherwise, just a photo.
Yeah.
So it's an autograph now is very quaint. Now an autograph seems to be just the people who hang out where famous people are and yell at them when they leave a building.
Yeah.
Mr. Reeves, Mr. Reeves, Mr. Reeves,
Yeah.
Mr.
Grab,
Reeves,
grab,
Mr.
grab,
Reeves,
grab.
Mr. Reeves. Yeah. And then they sell it on eBay or give it to one of those collector guys
Yeah.
in Vegas.
Yeah. And that was fun facts about
That's
Sarah Jessica Parker.
Oh, okay.
No, more fun facts for Man of Steel. Did you know what city was Metropolis in this?
Oh, I don't. No.
Nope.
No? Well, apparently it's the same city that Gotham City is for Christopher
Oh, it's
Nolan.
Chicago.
It's Chicago.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's Chicago. If you look closely, the Warner Brothers, Legendary Pictures, and DC Comics logos all steel, but also have Kryptonian writing in them.
Huh.
I thought that was kind of cool.
It's kind of fun.
I wouldn't know.
That's fun.
You wouldn't know.
I have a fun fact.
Yes, because I only have one more.
You may have it on there.
Yeah?
There's a part where they're, of course, fighting in the city. There's like a gas truck, similar to like in the other Superman movies.
Yes.
He punches it, and what does it say on the side of the gas truck?
LexCorp.
LexCorp.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's also a Wayne Tech satellite that's destroyed as well.
Oh, I didn't know that it
that's a
said
Wayne
Wayne
Tech?
Tech. That's
Yeah.
cool. That's cool.
My final one is, and this is more of a goof than a fun fact. On the fishing boat opening scene, Clark leans down to pick up some rope that was dropped on the deck. Now, before he reaches it, it's a bunch of random rope pieces. But when he grabs it, it's a full coil. I noticed this right off the bat because somebody drops it. I'm like, what is that? Squid pieces? It's supposed to be rope. And then he picks it up and then he's got the rope. And I'm like, this is...
Did he coil the rope? See, that's the kind of thing
I don't-
Jonathan Kent would have stopped him from doing. Don't coil super fast. No super fast coiling.
It has like 15 different ends when it's on the ground.
Wow.
Like, I don't even know what... he's a magician. He can do the rope trick as well as everything else. I don't know. And those were fun facts
about
Man of Steel.
I also have a quick quiz.
All right.
Finish this off.
Let's do it.
All right.
Got it. A.
We all know. Speaking of, you mentioned LexCorp.
Okay.
And Wayne Tech.
Yeah.
This is about product placement in the movies that we've seen.
Oh.
And all of these are fairly obvious, okay?
In this movie?
Multiple choice. No, we're going to go through all of our movies, my friend.
Okay, because we talked about the KFC one.
Yeah,
That
we
one
did.
was
Yeah.
Yes, that's why I didn't use it. Which one of these was a paid product placement for the movie Superman? A. Ritz Crackers. B. The iPhone. C. Marlboro. Or D. Steve Austin's bionic hair dye.
It's clearly not the last one with that excellent delivery. Steve Austin's hair died.
Your choices
The
are
answer is Marlboro.
A. Ritz
Yeah,
Crackers.
I'm
B.
gonna-
iPhone. C. Marlboros. Or D. Steve
I'm going to
Austin's
go with C.
bionic hair
Marlboro.
dye.
Marlboro.
It is.
Yeah.
Lois Lane constantly is pulling out Marlboros and smoking them. All right. Number 2. Which one of these was a paid product placement in Superman 2? A. Kenner Toys. B. Coca-Cola.
Ding, 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 ding.
C. iPhone. Or D. The WWF Super Slam.
Definitely Coca-Cola.
Yeah, they think one of the guys gets thrown into a Coke
Into
sign.
a Coca-Cola
Yeah.
truck. Correct. See.
Or the truck, yeah. Or and a sign, perhaps, I think.
Yeah, I
So
think
maybe
it's both. Yeah.
Which one of these was a paid product placement in Superman 3? A. Twinkies. B. Fruit of the Loom underwear. C. Atari. Or 4. Dr. Butler.
All right, so 1, 2, or 3?
Dr. It's not even that funny.
I know, but I'm sure it isn't.
We'll be back in just a minute.
Let's say... Wait, Twinkies, not Twinkies.
Wait, I got to hear the last answers. Dr. Butlord. Who's Dr. Butlord?
Dr. Buttlord. Yeah, he's a...
Superman's arch nemesis, Dr. Butlord.
He does butt lifts.
Dr. Butler's hemorrhoid and fissure ointment.
What? That's a thing?
It's not even funny. It's not even nearly as funny.
And it's not even a thing. So
Okay.
that's wrong. What was the second one?
A. Twinkies. B. Fruit of the Loom.
What was the middle thing?
C. Atari. Or D.
Well, it's
Dr. Butler.
It's Atari. Yeah. That's a plot point.
Yeah, I'll go with Atari.
It is. It's Atari. Gus Gorman uses an Atari supercomputer. That's correct. All right. Which one of these is a paid product in Superman 4? A. Burger King. B. Kleenex. C. Bufferin pain reliever. Or D. The 6000 SUX vehicle.
A.
C. I forgot them all.
Sean, what was C?
Burger King.
Dr. Butlord.
It is A. Burger King. There was actually a big promotional campaign with them and lots of tie-ins. Any love for the 6000 SUX vehicle?
No, because he delivered it well.
Too well.
Yeah.
Do you know what that is?
6,000
It's
sucks.
the constant car commercial that you
Oh, is
see
it
in
RoboCop?
RoboCop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's right. All right. Which one of these is a paid product placement in Superman Returns? Is it A, Nike, B, Beats headphones, C, Audi, or D, Alaskan Airlines?
Alaskan Airlines.
Audi.
Why would you say Alaskan Airlines?
That was the only one I can remember.
That was the last one you said.
It's a big flight sequence. I don't think an airline would want to be connected to a plane going down like
Good
that.
point. Good point.
It was Audi. Lowest drives
I'm
in
batting
Audi.
1,000.
Yep.
Audi.
Which one? I don't know. I think I really fooled you. I could have fooled you with Dr. Butler.
Dr. Butler's.
I just keep thinking about that.
Which one of these is a paid product placement in Man of Steel? A, Brawny Paper Towels. B, Atari. C, Sears. Or D, the Springfield Nuclear Power Plant?
Give me those again. My perfect streak rides on this.
A, Brawny Paper Towels. B, Atari. C, Sears. Or D, the Springfield Nuclear Power Plant?
See, I just went to the New Beverly and I saw the Brady Bunch movie.
Yeah.
So that's in my head right now. Kid, put on your best Sunday clothes. We're going to Sears or whatever the line is. Something like that.
I don't know. I'm going to Sears.
I will say
No, Brawny. Sorry, changing.
Yeah, I'll say Brawny.
Sears.
Damn it!
I'm
Yeah.
good with you.
They
blew it.
destroyed
This happens every single time.
I gotta
I'll be
stop
like,
listening.
no, I'm doing this. And Paul goes, yeah, I'll go with you. And then I get it wrong. And Paul goes,
I
"Damn it."
immediately thought no to Brawny because Cavill looks like the Brawny guy. That's why you're trying to throw
That's
it.
exactly where
but
my
I
head
thought
went,
it could
yeah.
have been as a funny thing almost on a ship or something.
When they are fighting in the Midwest, they fly through the sign, through the building. That's part of the destruction that starts out with the two of them fighting. I have a question.
Yes.
Rank them.
Oh, gosh. I hadn't thought about this.
1, 2, Man of Steel, 3 and 4. There is more competence on display in Man of Steel than 3 and 4, and canon remains in the cellar. But there's magic in the first Superman that this one didn't have, so it lands in the middle.
I'm going to go 1, Man of Steel, 2, 3, and 4.
You put... Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
2,
Oh,
1.
I thought you said number 1 was Man of Steel. I'm going to go 1, Man of Steel. And I was like,
yeah, no,
wait,
no.
and then what?
No. Still Superman the movie for me is
Okay.
the tops. But I think Man of Steel is a close second. I still say that Man of Steel, even aside from my personal reasons for loving the film, I think it ticks a lot of boxes about the Superman character for me that have never really been in the movies.
Yeah?
And I have found that a little frustrating. I think they touch on it a little bit in Superman 2. I think Superman 2 is a little bit of a bigger sort of situation. So, yeah.
It makes sense that somebody who's an alien that they can't control. He says, you think I'm an alien, you don't trust me because you can't control me.
Right.
Like, that's certainly a thing that we have today. You know,
Right,
in
100%.
actual government,
Yeah.
in our actual attempts to, control the world, if we can't control you, you're an enemy. So that's still the thing. That's interesting. I didn't necessarily need that with Superman.
Yeah, I get that.
I would go 2, the Lester cut. First is the one that I want. Then 1. Then I'm going to say Superman Returns. I like that.
Oh, I
better.
forgot.
Oh, I forgot. Oh, shoot. Oh, we
Which
both-
says a lot
Dang
about
it.
Superman
No, we got to go
Returns.
back. We got to go back because I
No.
totally forgot about that.
Yeah, Superman Returns would be
Oh,
my 3.
shoot.
This would be my 4. And then 3 and 4.
Okay, wait a second. We got to go back. Okay. Superman the movie. Where am I going to put Superman Returns? That's a tough one. I really do like that movie too.
I can't put it too high because I completely forgot about it, which is not a good sign.
I'm not gonna lie, I was right there with you.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I do love that movie, and I think I only forgot about it because it just wasn't top of mind.
I really liked Brandon Routh as Superman. Bryan Singer really got it right with his casting of him, and there's a lot of stuff in that movie they got right.
I like
There's a lot
Cavill
of
better.
stuff they got wrong.
1, 2, Man of Steel, Superman Returns,
3 and 4.
3 and 4.
1, Man of Steel. I don't know if I want to put 2 or Superman Returns there.
There's not much of a competition there for me. I think Superman 2 is fantastic.
I'm gonna put it there as a placeholder. Superman 2, then Superman Returns, then 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm way off from you guys. Once again, I still put number 2 right up top.
I'm going to go
You know?
back and watch the Lester cut again because we watched that Donner cut, and that's what I got in my mind now.
Yeah.
And so I every time I come to Superman 2, I go,
No. Superman 2, Superman 1, Superman Returns, Man of Steel 3 and 4.
Well, all right, we've ranked them. All right, that is Man of Steel.
Yeah. I mean, when I think about the one and done effort of Bryan Singer in the Superman universe, it makes sense that Zack Snyder isn't going to make any more Superman movies. Guys? Is he?